It's the UPX Podcast, baby. Glad you tuned in. Got your host, ThankMeLater, and Too Stupid to Win. Might be coming up session as soon as you begin. Start out king of the street, then lock in iconic in. Welcome to Upland. Grab your UPX, man. On your way in the door, hit you with $4,000. Get to buying and gripping, then to selling and flipping. Over to moving and shucking. I'm Scrooge McDuckin in UPX.
Welcome, fellow Uplanders, to another episode of the Upland Property Experts. I am your host, Too Stupid to Win, and as always, I'm joined by ThankMeLater. What's up with your Upland Property Experts floating around there, brother?
Well, no, I had moved it on the other side, but then I wasn't sure. Like, it always crops differently, so I keep it floating so I can move it around.
Gotcha. Okay. I'm just watching it float across the screen as I'm doing the intro. Welcome to episode 133. If you missed it earlier today, I was on the Upland Power Hour on Twitch with X1. I appreciate the time there. It was a fun time.
Dang, that's super cool. Why didn't you invite me? What's that about?
I think yours is coming.
I mean, I guess you got to save the best for last, right? You don't want to start hot, because I get it. It would, like, you put me first, and then like every other person that comes on is just like, man, it's not as good as ThankMeLater.
So we got a big ego night going on. Got it.
Oh, it's big ego night for sure.
It's big ego night.
Come on. They just announced a Vegas freaking event literally centered around the best property in the game. That's all I'm saying. Big ego night.
And if you didn't own the Genesis property, it wouldn't be the best property in the game, in your opinion.
I still think it would be the best property, because it like in all reality, like, I mean, I guess I'm biased now because I do have it, but it's the most unique to Upland, right? Like, you're gonna have awesome landmarks, you're gonna have things, but like, yeah, it is like the core. It's like the most sentimental, like, impactful property related to Upland. Like, it's a one-of-one Genesis. I just think it's super cool. And I love that there's a huge celebration each year to celebrate. It's really like Upland's birthday. Like, that's how I look at it. June 6th is Upland's birthday. Upland is turning 3. And I cannot wait to celebrate with anybody joining in Vegas.
And I'm still trying to make something happen there.
Yeah, trying to rub it in. Unfortunately, I know Too Stupid has other obligations that cannot be moved, like like a wedding. So, like,
I even text them, like, I got plenty of time to register in the state of Nevada. Do we just want to do it in Vegas?
Yeah, just a change of venue. No worries,
And I'm gonna bring some friends.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Yeah. No, but yeah, I am officiating my sister-in-law's wedding on Saturday, June 11th. So that, like, I'm still trying to maybe get in there
June
for maybe
11th.
Yeah.
Wait. The wedding's not till June 11th?
Yeah.
Dude,
at
you
noon.
got time. Why are we having this discussion?
I'm still trying to work out maybe coming in Thursday and leaving first thing Friday morning, because we got rehearsal dinner and all that fun stuff Friday the 10th.
You don't need to be there for that. You're a pro.
I'm a pro.
Oh, June 11th is Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's tough.
So all the events are going on Thursday, Friday in Vegas, and then Saturday, if you're a chief executive, there's a brunch for the chief executives. And as long as you make chief executive before Genesis week, you get an invite to the brunch and the other bonuses for the chief executives.
Yeah, I need to get on that. I got to make 10 million in the next 2 weeks. So
2 weeks. Genesis is way more than 2 weeks away.
Is it?
Yeah.
It feels like it's 2 weeks away to me.
It's May.
2, 3. Oh, it's like 3 weeks. 3.5 weeks away. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4.5 weeks. Oh, wow. We got like a month.
There you go.
Wait, what's the date today? Oh, it's only May 5th. I don't know why. I've been thinking it's like been the end of May. Like, I have no idea why. Yeah. Shout out Dizzy. Yeah, boy. Make it happen.
Yeah, I only need like 60,000, so let's do this.
That's true. TM, if you bring your daughter, I would agree, TM, you should go and bring your daughter.
Absolutely. Need a civil TM.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want any drama. I really don't. Like, I think that there's going to be a lot of personalities at the event. And I hope everyone is cool and civil. Like, I don't know. I just don't see any reason for there to be drama, but speaking of drama, wasn't June supposed to be on today?
No, next week.
Oh, it's next week.
And how do you go with drama to June?
Oh, I don't know. I just wanted to start some drama. That's me starting. That's me preemptingly stirring the pot.
Like, you're like, there's going to be personalities in Vegas. Like, pot, the kettle's calling. What up?
Oh, no. I consider myself one of those personalities, for the record. Like, but
yeah,
all good. I mean, I will be on my absolute best behavior.
Are you going to have a sign made that just talks about third-party markers on properties and UPX on exchanges?
Yeah,
and you can just flip back and forth between signs.
Yeah, that the meme with the guy sitting at the desk with the sign. It's just like, property markers don't mean anything. Change my mind, bro. Like, oh my gosh, and dude, it was so pissed me off. There's this guy on the Facebook, and he's everywhere. He's like, oh yeah, if you want a marker added, just pay me some money, and I'll get a marker added to your property. And I'm like, do you not see that by you selling that service, you single-handedly prove that it's a useless thing? Like, if anybody can essentially get it added because you know which paperwork to fill out, like, that is exactly why it doesn't matter, because anybody can do that, and then anybody can take it down. Assuming, and again, like, it's like, oh, hey, this is a Starbucks and I want it to show up. Like, yeah, you could fill out the paperwork and get it, and it might show up actually, because whatever, they don't really care. But it's just like, if you're selling that service, you're admitting that it's not controlled by Upland, that it's controlled by a third party and can be manipulated by essentially anybody. And not necessarily in a negative way. Like, I don't think you could put like, TML's house as a marker. Like, I think it has to match the business. But if you're like, hey, this is a church, this is a school, whatever, you can.
Well, you could, but then they remove it once they realize that it's bad. And that's the other thing is on this third-party service, you're supposed to be able to have like real-world knowledge that you physically saw that, hey, this is a Starbucks. So you can't be sitting in California and saying this place in Iowa is a Billy Bob's Meat Market because somebody told you it was a Billy Bob's Meat Market.
Yeah. CD for card. Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I mean, I do a lot. I've been doing more on Facebook than Discord, just because for me, like, Discord has gotten a little rowdy. Like, there's just so many people. And I honestly, like, I don't like as much of the anonymity of Discord, because I think like people act more ridiculous on Discord because they have that buffer, where I feel like on Facebook, although there's a lot of like shell accounts, like not everybody uses their real profile, which is whatever. But like, I do appreciate, I feel like you can get more of a Discourse. There's still trolls. There's still people like whatever. But for me, it's a smaller community. And honestly, I've gotten some really good deals. I feel like it's easier to make deals with people through Facebook. There's a little bit more trust, especially if people are using their real profiles. Like, that I'm doing like Block Explorer deals, so it's not a big deal, 100,000 UPX here and there. But like, that they're really not going to stiff you because you have the real name and face. Like,
right. So don't forget, there is the Upland Player of the Year that we can nominate people for. There's a form to fill out, and you can nominate, and there's some pretty cool prizes that you get for being Upland Player of the Year.
I mean, can we just, as a community, like, because I'll say straight out, I'm going to vote for Dizzy. Dizzy's got my vote. I'm going to urge any Upland podcast listener, UPX podcast listener, nominate Dizzy Diskey. I think he's a phenomenal player. I think he's an OG. He's been around. He's won contests. He's been in the trenches with us. He continues to invest and believe in it. And honestly, he's just got a really good spirit. I would say it would be between him and actually, you know what? Shocker TM. I also I'm kind of a fan of, after the other week, of K Twice. Like, I think K Twice is up there on my player of the year just because he seems super chill. But Dizzy's, been a long time listener, and I'm a huge fan of Dizzy's, honestly. I mean, that's true. You haven't really done a lot for the community. That's fair.
He just buys players out.
That's you know what though, that buying that player out. I'm just gonna say that is award worthy for sure.
Yeah. And then
K Twice is a good dude. K Twice would be definitely my second vote. Can I use my vote? Damn, that's just cold.
Oh no, and that was something X1 and I were talking about today, is just all the people that we've had here on the podcast and all the stories and drama that we've covered, from the downfall of Green Rabbit, from the people that were kicked out, and then we brought the founder on and watched him dance around some hot coals. The drama with Dizzy when he bought that said player out of the game itself, and everybody was like, "Oh, it's not fair." So, I mean, we've had top 10 players all the time on the show. Next week we're going to have June, who in my book is one of the best, if not the best, treasure hunter in the game.
Yeah, I would definitely put him. I mean, he's been treasure hunting since day one. Like,
yeah.
So for me, like, the fact that he's made it through every iteration, he's continued to adapt, continue to evolve as the treasure hunts, and he stayed on top. Like, that is not an easy feat. So yeah, I would say he's definitely up there.
Yeah. And then X1 said that he came, I forgot that he came on board during Spud Wars, and he was listening to our podcast about the whole trailers and the cell towers and then just the chaos behind that.
Oh my gosh. That was one of my favorite like seasons of Upland, was Spud Wars. Like, holy cow, that was fun. That was super cool. I would love for them to do, like, I mean, I don't know how you would do it, but like, I mean, just imagine they gave you, because you can't really use Spark because Spark has other, practical purposes. But like, imagine they spin it off. I love the idea of giving you like a temporary, token like Spark, like Spud, and then be able to do something crazy with it, right? Like, again, it could be decorating houses. So like, you get more points for decorating a house versus just decorating an empty lot. But like a Spud Wars type thing where it's like built on top of like the existing, functionality, but uses something else. It can't be Spark because it has to be taken down. Oh my gosh. So that is a quote. Okay. Do you know where that quote is from?
No.
So it was in one of the Discords. And it was, so for those who don't know, because some people probably weren't around during Spud Wars. So Spud Wars was a precursor to Spark. It was them testing out Spark. And so they had building contests, and it was a neighborhood battle. And so there was different neighborhoods, and you could build buildings, but then you could also build cell towers. And the cell tower had a radius that it would block out. It would essentially remove the value of any properties within the radius of it.
Don't forget that it was supposed to be trailers till there was a big uproar about trailers and the socioeconomic connotations with that.
Yeah, so there was a trailer, like, in Upland, to their credit, pivoted very quickly. I think cell towers is a much more accurate representation, because it's funny, at the time I was actually looking for a house, and there was this gorgeous house, and we didn't buy it because it had a brand new 5G cell tower literally in its backyard. And in a market where no property was staying on the market, that one did not sell for months. It was just like plummeted its value. But no, so we're in this Discord. I don't remember Tia, you might have to remind me which neighborhood it's. I feel like it was probably Panhandle. Panhandle would probably be where I would guess that I said that. So anyway, there's a Discord with it, and so it was like, hey, keep building, keep going, and I literally put in there, I'm working as fast as I can, boss. But I was completely building cell towers, and everybody in that Discord knew I was building cell towers, and it was probably the funniest thing I said that entire competition. And yeah, it was. I'm building as fast as I can, boss. That was so classic. But yeah, Panhandle. Who were the finalists? Panhandle, Merced, and Dogpatch.
Right? Yeah, and then at first TM was he was pretty livid about if anybody builds a cell tower in VV.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, that was heated.
Oh man, that's right. I feel like that's like an old TM. I hope that TM is retired, because man, that was a hostile last TM. He was living. If you build a cell tower, I'm gonna nuke your family. Like it was intense. Like, he took it serious. Like it was a personal attack on him. Like it was insane. Yeah, I had to check my block explorers. Dang. Oh, yeah. So each one of them had a limited edition block explorer, only maximum of 10. I think some of them actually only had 9 or 8 even minted. So each one of those top had a custom block explorer, and they went in like 10 seconds.
Oh yeah, they were quick.
It was insane. I also have a full collection of those block explorers, which is pretty cool. Now, but I got to be careful, because then Dizzy's going to throw up that he's got the Genesis ring set, and then I'm not going to have anything to come back with. So
yeah.
Check the BEs again for you. Good times.
So anything else on Genesis week before we move on?
Why? What? Let's just stay on Genesis week. It's honestly, I mean, how cool. Oh, because you're not going, so it's kind of sad for you. Okay. I guess we can move on. I'm super excited. Oh, and they're releasing a city.
Yeah. I think that's going to be pretty awesome, because if you're involved in any of the different communities and you get on one of the voice chats for a city release, I think it will be pretty cool. And it'll be even better once you get the Wheel of Death. You can just be like, yo, X1, look at this. It's doing it again. Like, they're right there. They can't even duck you on Discord. They're like right there, like, support, help.
Support. X1, get over here. This isn't minting. Why is it? Look, right here. You mint it. You mint it.
Watch, it just all turned blue under me. What am I supposed to do? It just instant blue.
Oh man. Well, I mean, they're doing it at the Imaginatorium. Is that what it's called?
Hopefully they got good Wi-Fi.
I would imagine, but like, could you imagine what if they drop us in the city? What if because like they have all those like screens in AR, VR. Like, what if they put up the city and we get to watch it mint live? Because we've always talked about how like we hope that there's like a command center where they're like watching the city get minted, right? Like, dude, what if they put up that command center and like a 3D area, and they just like drop you and you get to like watch it get minted?
That would be cool.
Oh, that would be so fire though.
Yeah.
Come on. That would be like just I would even just one big billboard of the whole city and just watching as things get minted. So, I mean, I cannot wait. I am super hyped. I'm curious. I think the two big contenders for the city, obviously Vegas is a strong, obvious contender for what city will be released. But then I think Miami or Florida, a Florida city could possibly be in. What do you think? What's your vote?
You know, I said earlier on the Twitch stream that I think it's too soon for Vegas and Miami, so I'd like to see Houston or Atlanta. But being in Vegas, that would be pretty cool to be in the city. And I get that if they roll with Vegas, because that would be pretty awesome to do the live launch in the city that you're in. So,
yeah, with like like an AR overlay. So like, you know, they go through the city and like you can see, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of potential there. But I'm kind of with you, honestly. Like, well, that and selfishly, I don't have the UPX. Like, I need time for a Vegas launch, man. Like,
I mean, you got a month. You got 4 weeks. You can earn a couple million UPX.
Dude, but I'm 2 million on back order on BEs. Like, dude, you don't even understand. I have a crazy bad addiction to block explorers. Like, you just don't understand. I pre-buy these, and I'm like, okay, and I calculate my UPX. I'm like, okay, if I don't spend any UPX, I can get it to you. Can I buy it in 2 weeks? So I'm like back dead. Why wouldn't they have the meetup in Houston? Yeah, I mean that's fair because Vegas is cooler, and the venue that they're choosing is like I think it was, I don't know if it's just built or like Google like had a hand in it, but it's like
yeah, it's just built because if you look at the Google photo, there's just a trailer.
No. I mean, like, I think Google had a hand. It's like a tech, because it's like a tech show off building. It's super cool. I saw, it's been a little while, but I saw like the opening of it. It's really cool. NFL Block Explorer is floating over University Mountain, right? Okay. Thanks for the update.
Yeah, but it's a NFLPA Block Explorer.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Like, oh, you mean they're blocking? Oh, we've never seen that in game.
Right. That's.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's it doing in San Fran? So is it a cool? Oh, is it? Oh man, no, Dizzy, stop distracting us. We're trying to do a podcast. I could already see that dude stupid trying to log in to see this damn thing.
No, I'm still trying to work something out. So hopefully I can at least make it out for a day or so to get back.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah.
So, but speaking of block explorers, that's something, you know, we haven't really touched on a lot lately here. And since you have a corner on the block explorer market without a block explorer shop.
That's true. I get that. I get asked that a lot.
Yeah. And you just like to collect things.
Well, I think it's between, I like to collect things, and I just, as soon as they announced that they were going to be the drivers with the driver stats, like I think people completely underestimate how impactful that's going to be to the overall Block Explorer economy. Because as soon as that happens, you are going to have a very huge demand for it, first of all, because essentially those are your drivers. You're going to have a need for specialized driving skills. You're going to have the ability to buy an unskilled Block Explorer and then skill it up and then sell it. So now you have a secondary way of potentially generating revenue for yourself with arguably one of the first true gamifications, at least from like a role-playing element type a thing. And then you're going to have teams. So like I collect a lot of the heart Block Explorers. I've talked about making a team for that. I bought 2 sets of the chicks because I think that they look cool. And so I'm definitely leaning towards Block Explorers that I feel like could make a good driving team or racing team or would look good together. So I think the potential upside market of that going down the road is just huge. And I want to make sure that I have drivers for, every occasion.
So what about custom Block Explorers? Where do you see their value?
Oh. Dang, this is I'll be blunt. I hate the fact that people can sell their custom Block Explorers. I don't think people should be able to do it. I really don't. It makes me kind of sick. Like, I don't like that people are just using it as a chance to profit. I don't want your Block Explorer that's like so-and-so's director with a generic, like oh, cool, good for you. You got some logo or some, memorabilia past the sensor board now because it's open. Like, I'm not paying you I'm not paying you $1 million up. I'm not paying you 500,000 UPX. I'm not paying you 50,000 UPX for it. I don't want it. Like, don't try and sell it to me because to me, and I guess like I come from a place where like my custom block explorer means a tremendous amount to me. Like when a game offers you the ability to really have a unique one-of-one in-game presence that you can influence, and people kind of waste it for a profit opportunity, I just like that doesn't impress me. I put on is it? Who's it? Shania Twain. That don't impress me much. You got a custom blocking for it. That don't impress me much. Yeah, I need to get her to do a remix. Because to me, it's like that's it. Like you're selling your soul a little bit. Like I just go, it should mean more to you than that. Like the day I sell my block explorer is the day like I'm out of Upland because I wouldn't even sell. Even if I left Upland, I wouldn't sell my block explorer. Like I just wouldn't ever do that. But again, to each their own. But no, I don't own a single director's block explorer beyond my own. I get offered all the time. Does it mean that they're not some really cool ones? Some people are really creative. I really appreciate the thought and input on some of the unique ones that get made. I don't trust the soul sellers. Your custom block explorer is you, and you're not keeping it. You're not in the game. Steel zone. I could not agree more. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Soul sellers. That's what I'm gonna call them. Soul sellers. Like it's okay if you don't even use your custom block explorer all the time. I mean, I know Dizzy doesn't always have Frenchie up, which kind of makes me sad because I think Frenchie's a cutie, and that he should always have it up. But you want to show off your other block explorers too, which is understandable. But
like you definitely got to rock the Miles B chain.
Yeah, are we doing? Is that like we're gonna do a Miles B chain squad? I got one. I had.
Oh, nice.
Oh yeah. I got one. I got one of the boombox secondary. I didn't get in on any of the first ones. But I got secondary market on those. Again, a couple sets of chicks. I think I have 8 or 9 chicks now. They look angry if you look at them. So this is what I really like about the little Easter block explorers. First of all, I think that they're just really well done. Like they're pretty solid looking block explorers in general. But they have this like angry look on their eyes are kind of angry. And there's something about the contrast of this like cute little Easter chicken with just like, why'd you wake me up? And who painted my shell this color? Like, the hell is this? Like, they just got such attitude to me. I don't know, something really cool about it. So I'm a big fan of those. There's only 100 of each. So, I mean, that means there can only be 100 sets ever. So I think like that's super cool.
So what, now I know you just said that you'd never buy another person's block explorer, custom block explorer, but where do you put it price wise, the value on it? I mean, I believe that they're overvalued what people are asking for them, but where do you put a price on it since you price a lot of block explorers?
Honestly, maybe 100 to 150,000 UPX. Like, because I just don't see the value in them. I don't think anybody would sell their custom block explorer for that amount, but I don't see why you would want to pay more than 200,000 for custom block. Because here's the thing, like you can whatever, it has the an image that you like, but when you click it, it's like so and so's director, like they got this for becoming a director, and that's not you. Now, there are some custom block explorers that were like the original set where you could give it a name. Is there any ones that you would buy and burn? Ooh, now that's an interesting. There are a couple that I would buy and burn. I'm not gonna lie. They wouldn't sell them to me, so it doesn't matter. But there are some of the original director's cut, like Block Explorers, that have like a proper name and a description that was by the owner, which to me is even more personal. But it's a little bit more interesting. And again, if they were getting out of the game and they had a cool backstory, and like for instance, For Sale has had one up at I think it's in a Recurrier shop, and so his is a chess piece, and it says For Sale, which is ironic because it's for sale, and then it's like I love chess, and then it's like a description of I love chess. So I wish it would have said like Chess Master as the name instead of For Sale. Like I wish he would have named it something cooler, but like I go, maybe that one is kind of interesting because it doesn't say like For Sale director with a generic. But yeah, I think you got to look at the number of mints. So like, because again, I do a ton of these deals, right? So if I look at like, because I actually, and unfortunately I didn't get it together, but like I literally traded, this is how much I love Block Explorers. I traded my Queens train terminal for Block Explorers.
How many Block Explorers did you trade for it?
A lot. Maybe not a lot, but like probably 10 or 15 Block Explorers.
Wow.
Yeah. But I mean, it was, again, like a lot of the chicks came from that. Oh, I have 2 Miles B chains. Nice.
Nice.
2, 4, 6. Oh, I only have 7 chickadees, but I got 2 Mile Beach. But like, and I got a bunch of the Detroit Trader. So the Detroit Trader is 200 mint. I think it's cool. It's got the engine. I really think like that one, especially from a Cars theme perspective, I think that that's going to be a hot collector's item. Being that. Sad that mine didn't have a story I wrote for it. Oh, when was the last custom Block Explorer story? A long time ago. Are you going to talk about the eye? No, I'm not talking about the eye. The eye isn't. That's a super secret project that is still in the works. And if you want to know about the super secret Illuminati eye that is being built, you can DM me, but I'm not going to talk about it publicly yet until we get it up and running. So then you have like, so if I go through, like you have like the original like Halloween and Christmas ones, like those are pretty big. The touristy ones, apparently Bloody, which is like the Jason mask, is very popular. There's 549 of them, so there's actually quite a lot out there in comparison to some of even the newer releases. But that's obviously a really big one. You actually don't see a lot of the card ones, the ones from the Blockchain Heroes. Yeah, I don't see those come up a lot, so I think that those are pretty rare. The emoji ones are always popular. The Olympic ones. Personally, I haven't been super big on the Olympic ones. I got like the swimmer and the badminton. We see a lot of activity on the legits, the spirit legits ones. And then, yeah, there was the Thanksgiving. All the wizards are really high demand, which is not surprising. The football ones were okay. And then the newer ones. So all of the Valentine's ones are pretty good. I'm trying to see here. What are they? 500. So the nice thing about the Valentine's ones, 500 mint is a pretty sizable run. So those you should be able to pick up for. I think the prices are going up now a little bit, but I was picking those up pretty regularly for like 40 to 50,000 UPX. Which I think is a good price for them. There is 500 of each one, but I like them. I'm curious. I like the In Love. Some people tend to go towards the Cupid. I think he's kind of creepy. And then
Yeah.
you have like the trader ones. So they've been doing a lot of these trader ones lately, which I really think are cool looking. They're, kind of representations of the city that they come from. There hasn't been a San Fran trader though, has there?
No, there hasn't.
Which is a shame. I hope that they do that at some point. The LA Stadium one gets traded around a lot. That one's interesting because even though it's a mint of 300, like people place a lot of value on it. I think higher than what it's worth to me because I don't like sports. You were talking about a deal with one of those earlier this week.
Yeah, well, we'll get that later on the show. In will you accept that trade? So we do have a Block Explorer trade to discuss and break down.
All right, cool. I got about a dozen of the Stand with Ukraine hearts.
So what Block Explorer do you really want? Well, before I get to that question, I just looked on Atomic Hub. It's still amazing that the blockchain heroes with the Block Explorers, they're still holding steady at about $200 for the cheapest ones.
$200. That I think is actually a really good price.
Yeah.
Because what is hold on, let me go to Upland Wiki and look up. There's a Block Explorer page on there. Let me look up because those are very low mints, aren't they?
Yeah, you got a number 3 Mr. Wick for a 997 wax, which is $198 right now. So,
but like, there's only like what 2 to 5,
15,
like 15 of each.
Yeah, but 2 have been burned.
Oh, I see. Oh, so the count is probably only reflecting the ones that have been brought into the game.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying there's 15 of each?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, there's less than I'm looking at. This might be a little bit old data, but most of them have 5 or under actually in the game. And so I mean, $200 for like 15 and under mint is really kind of a good deal. So now there's a ton of them, but
here's an interesting one. You got the Great Gecko for 997 wax, and it says 6 have been burned. So that gives you I mean, that's pretty interesting. And I don't know, that makes no sense because it shows a max of 15. It says 13 with a box, and it has -6 with a fire. So not really sure what that means there. But I haven't looked at these in a very long while. And it's been over a year, they were minted 4/6/2021. So not really sure. Okay, fire means in the game. All right, so yeah, 6 have made it into the game, which isn't bad. But I do like those prices. Looks like we had boulders all over the wax stuff. So I always can count on Boulder Magic. TML just had some technical difficulties, so he will be back, and he is our Block Explorer expert. So I haven't been into it like he has, and I would like to know which one is his favorite Block Explorer that he doesn't have. He might not share that with me because because you guys will jack up the price on him, but he does do some good deals for those Block Explorers. While we wait for him to come back, we can jump right into the top 5 city floors in Upland, and I can break that down. Once again, we're seeing in the green, looking pretty good. San Francisco, Santa Clara are still staying pretty close. Those are all healthy changes for over a week. The U.S. dollar floor surprisingly took a big jump with Manhattan, Santa Clara, and the Bronx. So they made some significant gains this week. All right, you're back. I was just talking about this, but you got back. I'm like, I'm not the Block Explorer expert, so
hopefully my audio went nuts too. I hope it didn't like freeze me on some like weird, like
no, I didn't get any sound.
Okay.
So what Block Explorers are out there that you haven't been able to acquire yet that you're very interested in?
None. I have
None?
like if there's a Block Explorer I wanted, I have it. It's more like which ones do I want more of? And also the answer is all of them. I guess like there are probably some that are just like exponentially out of my price range, or that like I wish I owned. Like honestly, like obviously there's ones like the Genesis ring, the big,
Yeah.
the BD Genesis ring would be cool. There's some of the artist ones which are really slick looking. Love that. And what are some? There's some. Oh, a lot of the construction ones, like the ones with like the transformer. Like I didn't get any of those, and those are so cool. So yeah, I guess there are some, but they're just so expensive. Like I couldn't justify. I'd rather go buy, 50 the Ukraine hearts versus like one of the the super cool
The terraformers.
The terraformers, yeah. But honestly, those to me are so cool.
All right. Anything else?
Ooh. TM says the puppeteer. Yeah, that tracks. That tracks for TM.
Anything else before we move off of Block Explorers?
No, I think that covers it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So we'll get into the secondary market. I was just saying that the US floor has been coming up, which is nice.
You like to see that, it's funny. I think I'd be curious. Oh, how much is a Ukraine heart worth? I don't know. I pay like 30 to 40,000 for them. I mean, there's hundreds of them, so I mean, they're super, super common. But I collect them. How do I make a Block Explorer? Do I just drag the design or post it somewhere? Is there a good resource? You submit it for, I don't know. It's been so long since I did mine. I literally sent them the basic turtle that is like comes, and I was just like, I just want give me a fancy turtle with like a top hat or something. And I just sent them that, and then they made mine. So and I love it. And his shell, like that blue, is a unique Upland blue that they use for a lot of their stuff, and they put it on that shell for me. So super, super love my TML Explorer.
Speaking of Block Explorers, we do have to reach out to the Upland team and see if we can get a year 2 UPX Podcast Block Explorer series out. See if we can give it to another carbon neutral site or St. Jude's or something like that.
Yeah, I was actually just thinking about that today. Yeah, because that'll be coming up shortly. I would love to do. So did we do a set of 3 last? We did turtle. We did the combination of the other 2.
Yep, and then the microphone.
The microphone. So this year, what I was thinking is it would be cool if we did the Dizzy Deuce, the Franklin Bomb, and then another golden trophy. Like that's what I would like to see. That's my my personal suggestion, and like I would do like the write up and the design. For those who don't know, those are colloquialisms coined by the UPX Podcast as nods to some of our listeners. The Dizzy Deuce, it's kind of like Urban Dictionary style. Like the Dizzy Deuce is when you're going to the bathroom in the morning and you're sitting there collecting your UPX. Or, at this point now it's like logging in to get your Spark bonus. Because right. I've been doing that. I do that religiously. I'm on week 2 of trying to get that little bit of Spark.
And then 0.01.
And then Mrs. Jeever says would love it. And then the Franklin Bomb. So that's Franklin 2G. you know, longtime listener. So I've been toning it down. I don't think I've dropped an F-bomb since we've been on YouTube.
No, you haven't.
It's been hard. So for those, if you go back and listen to we have some explicit podcasts back before we hit YouTube, and we had listeners that would essentially just try and goat me into dropping an F-bomb. And, you know, Franklin was definitely one of the better ones. So, and obviously Franklin and the F-bomb. And so that became a Franklin bomb. And I've got some design ideas that I'd like to see for that for sure.
I'm excited for that. So,
yes.
Yeah. Thank you. I had to log in for my Spark. Thank you for reminding me.
No, yeah. And then TS, what would TM's, because TM obviously long-time listener and you know, a close friend of the show and us individually. I think white t-shirt, you know what? It's going to probably be a B. That's what I would make the TMB is what I call it. TMB. It would be a B. It would be a little B.
Nice. It is interesting that the top 5 cities, the US dollar floor is now all in double digits.
Yeah. No, that's good. I like all the green. I'm a little sad for San Fran there, but whatever.
Yeah. And,
that's so low. I saw people selling houses. I saw people selling San Francisco with a small townhouse for 30 USD.
Wow, like, that's a steal.
That's insane. Like, yeah.
That is a steal.
Get on Facebook, man. Those deals are all over the place. People are crazy.
Yeah. 30-day change. Rutherford, their bubble popped, and they are making a nice rebound, though. And San Francisco, it goes up and down. Santa Clara, though, still just charging hard, up at 18%. And as you can see, the U.S. dollar floor has made a big recovery in San Francisco and Santa Clara over the last month.
Yeah, I mean, 16 is just obscene. And again, I think, you know, we're going to continue to see these market corrections. No offense to all of my wonderful Rutherford holders, but, you know, that I'm not saying it was an artificial bubble, because I don't think it was artificial in the sense there was people actually buying it up. And I think there's a very smart play there, given its limited size and you know, its access to some things like you know, the stadium and whatnot. But it felt a little artificial because there's a handful of really big players buying it up, and it's an easier market to control. I am curious, like, where is this people that were waiting to a certain point and now are selling? Is it because these whales have stopped buying up the floor? Because we had heard that, like, I know TM has made like a conscious effort to really start investing more of his UPX into Spark rental and building up properties, which I completely love and appreciate.
Yeah, TM has 884 properties in Rutherford.
Out of how many?
6,000 and something.
Oh wow, yeah. So I mean, it's nearly, you know, I mean. Yeah. So again, there's a handful of people that are, I think, influencing that market heavily.
Yeah. Bottom 5 city floors: Detroit, Queens, Chicago, Los Angeles, Fresno. Bakersfield was number 5 last week. Fresno's taking a little drop. Bakersfield recovered. Still, you know, these changes still show a good, healthy market for the onboarding of new players in the secondary market. U.S. dollar floor: Chicago did see a 14% spike, challenging that $5 mark. But overall, it's pretty good, and it looks like a new city's not going to be released for another 4 weeks unless something gets super crazy.
Yeah, that's true, because, you know, this is probably the furthest ahead. I keep feeling like June is like right around the corner. I don't know why. Like, I have a couple other trips in between now and then, so I guess I've just been like planning out my next couple weeks, and I just know it's going to go insanely fast. But like, that's the most time Upland's ever really given. Well, at Manhattan, I don't really count, but like usually it's like, hey, by the way, here, you know, next week, here's the thing.
I mean, 127, you had the Los Angeles South release February 3rd, you had North Los Angeles. March 3rd, you had Detroit, and then April 13th, you had Queens. So we've been pushing for not as long as you think.
Well, no, but like they haven't. They don't usually give us a lot of lead time, right?
Yeah. Okay, I got you.
So like the fact that they're like, hey, here, you know, if you read the fine print, there's going to be a city release here in 4.5 weeks. Like you have a month to prepare, which I think is, I don't know if they're testing the waters on like how this, because usually it's like there's a release in a week and everybody like hard liquidates. Like, and I think like that causes a lot of negative turbulence in the market. And then people think they see that and then they go, oh, people are exiting, or it's a very negative market indicator, where I think giving us like a heads up, like, hey, somewhere between June 6th and 9th, there's going to be a new city. It gives people time to go, okay, I can calculate how much I earn in a month. I can calculate how much I want in a month. And then I can start strategically selling properties, but not at a loss. Like I can put them up. I can compete with that. I can go market them. I can leverage my assets in different ways to earn the UPX for the release. So I think it's better.
Yeah, and I'm interested to see how this market plays out over the next couple of weeks with the way that they did that.
Yeah, like do you think we'll see a slowdown in like the buy up of these other cities? Like, do you think LA and Queens, like people are going to stop minting there in hopes of like saving their UPX?
Here's the thing that's interesting. You know, there's over 250,000 people that interact with their Upland wallet each month. You don't have that many people in Discord. You don't have that many people in Facebook on that. So it's rather weird what these players' strategies are. And I have a hard time trying to figure that out, because people might just go along minting, not even knowing a new city's releasing until it pops up in Upland. And then you got to see if they're even going to click that to say that, hey, and read that. I think right now, the next couple of weeks, it will be slow and steady. And then as you get closer, it's going to be you'll see the normal discount sales, the fire sales, as people are trying to get liquid.
Oh, okay. So you think that even with this lead time, I guess that's fair, because that's just how people operate. Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So, Zebra said, conflicted. Do you say? I don't know. The fact that there's still Bel Air available, which shocked me, because somebody was selling their block explorers to go buy Bel Air, and I was just like, damn. I know that
it's expensive, but it's still available.
Yeah, which is crazy, because what's the multiplier on Bel Air? Anybody know off the top of their head?
1.8. Hold on. Yeah.
So almost 2x, right?
1.97.
1.9. So it is essentially 2x.
Yeah, I'm looking. Hold on.
Yeah. So like we always talk about, like, what would you do if you had $100, $1,000, whatever the minimum floor is to buy a set of Bel Air properties. If I was Zebra confirmed 1.97, how many properties do you need? 3? Most LA's 3. Whatever that is, go find out what the 3 cheapest Bel Air properties is. If I was starting today, I would take that amount of money, I would put it into Upland, and I would buy those 3 properties. And then I would be set. That's how I would start it, because at that point you're getting good monthly returns. You have your entire, set is running at essentially 2x, and the mint price, but even though the mint price got put, it's still the same.
You're still looking. You're looking at about $2,100 to get your 3.
Yeah, because when the mint, so Disney's saying here it's a mint price bump, but the interest
it was
bumped as well. So it isn't like you get like it started out as 10,000 UpX property earning whatever, and then goes to a 50,000 UpX property and still earns the same amount. It earns whatever. So if you minted at 1,000,000 UpX, you're getting the same as if you minted 1,000,000 UpX anywhere else in the game. But you're getting it at a guaranteed 2x, which is just phenomenal from an earnings perspective. Like, it's such a solid way to start the game. Whoa, no, JT, why are you trying to put that out there? Why are you trying to say
settle down?
why are you trying to stir up everybody? A dual release. 1%. TDavis says it's 1%, not that's not the one I want to. 1%. Somebody's asking odds. It's not Vegas. Anyway.
Yes, Two Cities at the Same Time was an episode from last year. I've been asking for that for a very long time.
If you had 1,000,000 UpX, what would you do?
Two cities at one time.
Yeah. I reckon, anyway.
So
you don't know where that's a reference from. It's old school. It's not from, it's from
Office Space. Yeah.
It's an old school throwback.
Yeah. The heat maps, not much has changed. Los Angeles is changing just a little. Queens, for being out, your collection areas are sold out, and got some room to please.
Yeah, which again I think is good. Like, I think we're seeing the correct growth pattern now. I think it was a hard correction. I think the market, and it kind of hurt because it happened at the time when the crypto market was also soft. So you have a lot of the crypto people who were already hurting from the value of crypto overall dropping. You had Upland needing to correct its economy to get back to that kind of slower, sustainable growth that's really going to make it a long-term project. And that intersected with a lot of unhappy people who were expecting to see massive immediate dividends, or who took out money from, other high yield areas and put it into Upland and then went, wait. I thought this was a pump and dump. Why aren't you guys just, printing 5 a day and then, letting us sell for 100x? Like, what's going on here? And then, Jacksonville and Cincinnati. That's, there would be 10 teeth between those two city launches. That'd be great. I could say that I'm from Cincinnati. To be fair, the 10 teeth did come from Cincinnati. Jacksonville don't have any teeth.
Yeah. Today they had the Ford Piquet Avenue plant. YK 2012 from the Upland Guide, founder of the Upland Guide. He was the lucky purchaser of the plant for $6,300 US.
Nice. Well done. Kudos to you, YK 2012.
So, would you accept this?
Oh, this is why you needed those. Duh. You were you just put this together, eh?
Yeah, that's why it's so generic.
No, it's perfect.
So, will you accept this offer? Somebody was offered the LA Stadium from the Big Game 2021 and 35,000 UpX for their Queens Block Explorer.
Yeah, so I think that this is actually a very interesting. Do you have the numbers I sent you? Because I'm going to probably say different numbers.
Yeah,
but
I do. I'll pull that up.
So I think, and I'm trying to pull up so I can get the correct mint. I think the stadium is 300 mints, and then the traders I think are usually 200. So that's a total mint run, right, of the Block Explorer, which to me is probably one of the biggest considerations of value. It would go like number of mints in the run, unique / cool like style. is probably a close second, because I think that can heavily influence the value of a block explorer. And then age. So the older they are, they naturally become more valuable, because players, aren't as active. There's a lot that end up in like dead wallets, or they're just, whatever, get lost in the archives. So let's see here. Am I correct? Queen's Trader's 200 and the other one's real. Yeah,
that's correct.
Yeah, I've been paying probably, in the 80 to 100,000 UPX range for the traders, for the city ones, that are at the 200 mint. No, yeah.
You said you're 100 to 125 for the 200 mint.
Sorry for the. Now, see, this is why I'm mess myself up. The game day one, I was doing 80 to 100, but also I didn't really like the game day one because I'm not a football person. So like the game day one to me is kind of like, that stadium doesn't really mean anything to me. The big game, it's cool. It's numbered like 2021, but there's also 300 of them. So yeah, I think I was paying 80 to 100. And then the traders ones, I've been paying 1 to 125, depending on them. I've been paying a little bit more specifically for the Detroit trader one, because I'm collecting those a little bit harder than the others. But
so all in all, this is a fair trade right now, with the value being a little more in favor. So the person making the big game and the UPX offer is making a better than market deal offer for this.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this is absolutely a fair trade. This to me literally boils down to which one do you like more. I think that the 35,000 UPX compensates for the extra rarity of the trader one. I think I like the style of the Queens one a little bit more, but I do think that there's probably a higher market for the big game day. If I'm being honest, I don't personally like it, but there's a lot of football people that might find that one more compelling. So honestly, it's a fair trade. Like this is a completely reasonable trade, and it would boil down 100% to preference. If it was like for like, I would go, no, the Queen's trader is definitely worth more, but 35K, heck, that's you could trade that for most of another cheapy block explorer. So I wouldn't do it. I would keep my Queen's trader personally, but that's because I like the Queen's trader a little bit more personally than the big game day.
And being a football guy, I would still keep the Queen's trader versus the big game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's just one. It's a lower mint. There's only 200 of them. Even with the 35,000 extra UPX, I'd still keep the Queens, and I'd figure out how to get the big game somewhere else.
Yeah, that's fair.
And JT likes the Queen one more. Joseph Wilson thinks it's a fair trade.
Yeah, I think that I think that's a fair. I think that's I'm glad that the kind of the larger community agrees. I think it's a very fair trade. I think either player would be happy with either one of those. I don't think there's a heavily cited one either way. Now this doesn't take into account the actual mint number of each one of those. So that could. Now, this is assuming that neither one of them is a single digit mint. This is assuming neither one of them is a split mint or closer mint, or honestly, like as cheesy as it sounds, that neither one of them is like mint 69 or anything weird. Like there are some like mint numbers inside the set that to me, like that's like when we were talking about how do you value a block explorer, total mint, blah, blah, blah. There is like one asterisk caveat at the end of that. That's like the actual mint number in that series, because mint one is always going to run between 2 to 5x the standard. In the larger 200 to 300 mint plus runs, anything in the single digits is going to be valued a little bit more. Splitter mint, which is kind of unique to Upland, and I dig, is definitely probably a plus 20 to 50% over normal, and then closer mints probably in the plus 50 to 2x markup. So there are some caveats in there of like the actual mint number of the set that could influence it. So always check that. Always check that up front.
Yeah, and I didn't get the mint numbers, so but overall, good.
Yeah, again, this is assuming that it's just like a random medium to high.
Right.
High
Yep.
stuff.
All right, here's an interesting one for you.
Yeah.
So, the individual offered their Queen's Beach Channel Drive exclusive collection, which is a 2.24x booster,
Okay.
which brings in about 70 UPX per month. It's a 43 up square property. This does not make or break the individual's collection, giving it up. And they were offering that up for Pacific Palisades Los Angeles collection, which is a limited collection, gives you 1.25x boost on it. And that's giving you about 1,200 UPX per month and 56 up squared. And once again, this does not make or break the individual if they gave up the Pacific Palisades property.
I mean, I'm not trading my Pacific Palisades for that beach channel.
Well, the Beach Channel Drive only has 300 properties available. Pacific Palisades is only 34% minted. So you can go ahead and snatch this beach channel, make that trade, and go out and buy another Pacific Palisades.
Yeah. What's the floor? Do you have the floor on the beach channel?
Dang it. I knew I forgot something.
Well, because here's my thing. I mean, but
oh, yeah. At the time, it was 80,000 UPX for the beach channel, and the floor on the Pacific Palisades secondary was 85,000.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I know it's 300, but again, if it's not making my collection, it's 70 UPX a month. Like, because here's what you got to figure. Okay, so 80,000, like, even if we say that beach property is worth 2x, so let's say it's a 40,000 UPX difference, you're gonna be losing 1,200 a month, like, until it's out. So if you hold it for 3 years, like, you've already lost that money, like, and that's guaranteed UPX versus like maybe this goes up in value. I don't know. I have a hard time giving up that much UPX revenue, even though, you can go mint some more, but they're going to be very expensive. Like, I couldn't sell it. I would do it if I could sell the beach property and then go buy me a set of Pacific Palisades, but it doesn't sound like you can do that. I think, like, because then maybe I could get more UPX. The unminted floor is 100K, so I couldn't even sell that and then buy an unminted Pacific Palisades.
Now, when the trade went down, it was lower. So, but it's gone up since this trade happened, or trade was proposed.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, if I really wanted that beach channel drive, if that was going to help me close it out, if I had a line on 2 other ones and I really wanted that, the token, then yeah, I could see it. Is it a marked property? Is there a marker on it?
They did not say.
What's the Google Street View? What's the Google Street View of it, huh? No, goodness. Sorry.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah.
I would have, because this was, I lost. I had the purchase price of it. And I would have.
purchase price, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, it's just
I would have spun around. I would personally make the trade. I would have
really
turned around. I would have traded it, got the beach channel, and then I would have bought another Pacific Palisades.
well. But what? So wait, is that $1,200 a month in the collection or outside the collection?
Outside the collection.
Yeah. So that property minted for, like 100,000, right?
Yeah.
So like you couldn't, like the mint value of that property is worth more than the floor of Beach Channel. So you couldn't. I see what you're saying, and actually, that's a very logical thing to say. Well, Pacific Palisades is still mintable. So if you were offering that for an 60 or 70,000 Pacific Palisade, sure, it's 100,000 UPX. So you have to hope that the floor goes above that, and then you're able to sell it and buy back into Pacific Palisades. So I could see if you're expecting the floor of Beach Channel, that's actually a really good perspective, because that actually makes it way more close to feasible, actually. Because before I was like, this seems like an obvious no deal to me. But if you think the floor is going to go above what you minted Pacific Palisades for, then it's a good deal. Then you take it, you wait for Beach to increase, sell it, and then you can buy back into Pacific Palisades or wherever. So, okay, I could see that. But JT says he can get a Beach Channel for $54 right now. $54.
Nice.
Yeah.
So this was sent to me earlier this week, and I did check the prices at the time. But yeah, absolutely. That's my thinking is I would have the money to buy back in. Me personally, I have money to buy back into Pacific Palisades. So I'd go ahead, get this one of 300 property, and then just wait for the floor to rise in the future. I looked at it as a long term.
So you're saying, okay, I'm willing to pay 100,000 UPX, because essentially that's what you're saying. You're
Right.
saying that property to you is worth 100,000 UPX because that's what the Pacific Palisades property minted at.
Yep.
So you're saying I already spent that UPX, but you could just spend, but I feel like you could then, in theory, I feel like you could sell the Pacific Palisade for under mint and then go buy the floor, which is probably a bigger property than that Beach Channel.
Beach
like
channel.
I feel like you could go and be like, hey, this is 100,000 UPX Pacific Palisade. I'm going to sell it for 90,000. Sell it for 90,000 and then swivel chair and buy the floor of Beach Channel and get a larger than 43 UPX square property. Am I wrong?
Yeah, I think you could. Hold on, I'm looking at sizes right now. 15. Got to go higher than 43. Searching. Let's see here.
Well, just see what the floor is. Like, what's the floor, and then what size is the floor? There are some other minor factors that we're not showing here while you're looking at that. Some other things to consider would be the location. Is it actually beachfront? I don't think if there's buildings on either, it would be mentioned. The address, minor detail, but potentially important. Shape of the property. So what kind of buildings can they hold? Presumably the 56 UPX one could hold a little bit bigger as opposed to the 43. I don't think either would likely be able to hold an apartment though. But I don't know.
Sales price currently is 79,000 UPX for a 33 up square.
Okay, so I mean it's probably still pretty competitive then. I mean,
yeah. So there's two 43 up square properties listed for $90K.
All right. Well, I mean, based on that, I mean, again, this is exactly why you should always like phone a friend in a scenario like this, because my immediate knee jerk reaction would be like, this is a terrible deal. Like, and I was like, is this a joke offer? But, Too Stupid has a very valid perspective of like, well, actually, here's how you could do it. And it's like, okay. And then, again, well, what if you just sold it under mint? Could you buy higher? Like, so you look at all your options. And so, wow, I'm quite surprised. I'm usually a pretty stubborn person that's hard to convince on stuff, but you sold me. I think that this is a fair trade. I think fair trade. Wow.
When I first got it, that was my initial. I'm like, here's another person just sending me a trade that's like instant reject. But then I'm like, okay, I'll just do my due diligence, because I had some time, and I was actually surprised as I was getting the information, and I was like, yeah, I'd actually do this, because it was close enough. It was close enough for me to make it worthwhile.
And you bring up a really good point, which I think is sometimes underappreciated, is like the fact that, there's only 300 of these and you can't mint. Like the fact that you can still mint Pacific Palisades, or, like the floor is still going to be relatively whatever, is actually a really large consideration, and shouldn't be taken lightly, because you can't get into Pacific Channel. And once those floors sell out, it's going to quickly rise in a small collection like that. Pacific Palisades not being sold out, having probably very much like Pacific. What's the one in San Fran that took a while to sell? Not Sunset. I thought there was a Pacific one in San Fran.
Are you talking about Seacliff or
Pacific?
No, Pacific Heights.
Pacific Heights, yeah. So again, I think like that's a really big consideration of getting to have that exclusive. I could see it, but you're really gonna commit to needing to complete that collection, I think. Outer Richmond, yeah. Oh, there's some good ones. Outer Richmond, yeah, that was a
no. So yes, please continue sending us these offers, and we'll get them on and we'll break them down for you just like this. And I that's amazing that I convinced you to come on over to my side on this one. I was actually shocked. I thought you were going to stand your ground, and I thought I was going to stand my ground, and we just leave it as differences. And that's the good thing. That's why I like doing these things, because we always aren't on the same page with stuff. And I like how we can. And sometimes you pull me your way, sometimes I pull you your way. So that's.
I'm always open to a logical argument. If you can show me the numbers and go, well, hey, here's why it's a good deal, or here's how I'm looking at it, like, and you can break it down logically. Yeah. And again, I think you did. And even my counter of like, I'll just sell it under mint and then go buy the floor. Well, actually the floor is 90,000 for a 43 up square property. So even if you were to sell under mint, which is the only way you're going to be able to sell Pacific Palisades today, you're going to have your costs are going to be, you're going to lose money on each side of those transactions. You're going to have, all the headache. You're going to have to actually go and sell it, and then you have to buy it and hope that it doesn't get bought out. There's a lot of risk there. Just, fair trade. We give it we need to get our stamp on here.
Yeah. Got to figure out that animation.
Trade approved. Boom. Yeah. Oh, like on Mythbusters, like, like good deal, bad deal, fair deal. Because that's the ideal. You really want to have a fair deal. Like that should be the outcome of any trade. We don't want super lopsided deals. If you rip somebody off or, whatever, like that's, good on you. But like, that's not what we want to see.
Yeah. So the individual did accept this trade offer also.
Oh, they did. Oh, cool.
Yes.
No. Can I circle? I can't draw on the screen.
It's not like the other one where we let the people go wild with the.
Oh my gosh. That was a good episode.
Yes. So please continue to send in your trades so we can break them down for you. Also, if you want a consultation with me and ThankMeLater, Ladle.
Ladle?
Wow. Yeah, you're a ladle now. If you
cool.
want a consultation with us, it's absolutely free, but we will record it for educational purposes. Definitely send us a message there. And we are looking to put together the roundtable for the month of May. That was very successful last month. So if you're interested in participating in the roundtable, please reach out to us so we can set that up and find a date to get that going. Do you have anything else before we get out of here for the week?
No, I was going to say, if there's a topic you want discussed at the roundtable as well, let us know. It was wildly successful last month. We absolutely had a blast doing it. So yeah, I hope that we can do that again, get some participation, get some good topics from the community, and have a good discussion. I think that'd be good.
Yeah. And until next week, everybody have fun and be safe.
It's the UPX Podcast, baby. Glad you tuned in. Got your host, ThankMeLater, and you're stupid to win. Might be coming up session as soon as you begin. Start out king of the street, then lock in iconic in. Welcome to Upland. Grab your UPX, man. On your way in the door, hit you with $4,000. Get to buying and gripping, then to selling and flipping. Over to moving and shucking. I'm Scrooge McDuckin in UPX.